for part 4 of my sleeve gastrectomy troubleshooting series on what to do if you don't feel satisfied by your food anymore. But before we start, I wanted to just ask you if you've eaten out since the last video came through, and did you try any of the tips that we spoke about? I'd love to hear if they've helped you at all, so please just shoot me an email or leave me a comment below and just let me know. So onto the topic at hand. Often people will say to me that they don't feel satisfied by their food anymore. They don't love food, it's not their number one priority, it's not top of mind all of the time. And most of the time people actually really enjoy this. It doesn't bother them because it actually frees up a lot of emotional energy, and it lets them focus on other things that they're up to and getting sort of satisfaction out of other things that form part of their life. So maybe they're finding out about their exercise, they're really enjoying being able to move a bit better, maybe they're enjoying hanging out with family and friends and growing in confidence, and that outweighs the negative of not really enjoying their food anymore. But look, a few of you, I know you aren't sold on the idea, so what I thought I'd do is just talk through a couple of ways that you could maybe look at addressing that. Not getting satisfaction from your food is a mindset and a habit issue. So really the first thing that you need to do if you're not getting satisfaction from your food is really make sure that you're actually choosing food when you're hungry, and that you're choosing food that you actually feel like at the time. So you're not just eating because it's a habit or it's there, or you're not just eating it because it's healthy and you should be. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to be satisfied by your meal. So it's really important to choose something that you really enjoy. So my number one tip is, before you eat, actually stop for a second and ask yourself if you are hungry. And if you are hungry, what do I really feel like? What is it that's going to satisfy me? Because that's going to get the best results. It is still important to put quality first most of the time. But the funny thing is, I often find that if people actually start to ask their stomach and their body what it really feels like, most of the time they will feel like that really good quality food rather than the sugary, fatty, oily, deep fried stuff that makes them feel a bit heavy and a bit yuck after they've eaten it. Secondly, check your internal chatter. I know this might sound a little bit hippy-dippy, but it is actually really important that you look at the way that you talk to yourself. So the way that you talk to yourself, your habits and your self-image will take a bit of time and really a lot of hard work to change. We can change the stomach really quickly, but the brain takes a lot longer to sort of adjust and change, because you've been working on the habits and the self-talk that you've had for years and years and years now. So you can't expect it to change straight away, and that's okay, it's completely normal. So how do we do that? How do we start to look at the way that we speak to ourselves and the way that we talk and change that mindset? Remember, your brain has a huge influence on the decisions you make on a day-to-day and even an hourly basis. So if you see yourself as someone who loves McDonald's, then your body will believe it, and you won't get as much satisfaction out of a salad. So I have a friend called Annette at Mind Body Consultancy, and she once told me that the best way to deal with this is to create a mind movie. Okay, might sound a little bit funny, but think about in your mind what you want to be, what you want your life to be like in 3 years' time. Okay, get a really, really clear image of that. So from the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment you go to bed, how do you feel? What do you look like? What are you wearing? What are you doing? Who are you hanging out with during the day? What's really important to you at that time? Try and make this mind movie as real as possible, so you can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it as if you're living it, really. And don't worry about the self-doubt and negative internal chatter that might be going on. And then once you've got that really clear picture, I want you to spend 5 minutes every day watching and hearing and feeling that mind movie. So this is a really important part of the exercise, and the repetition really is key. if you spend 5 minutes every day watching and hearing and feeling that mind movie, eventually your mind will start to think about that as normal, and that's what you will become, okay? It's just like we need practice to build our heart and our lungs and our leg muscles for exercise. We need practice to develop our mind and our mindset as well, and it takes time to remove that old way of thinking. So a little recap. The first thing I want you to do is very practical. Before you eat, I want you to stop and actually ask yourself if you're hungry. And then if you are, I want you to ask yourself what you really feel like, what's going to satisfy you. And the second tip is from Annette. Please think about making a mind movie. Give it a go. It's a 5-minute movie. What is your day like in 3 years' time? How do you feel? What are you doing? And then I want you to repeat it over the next 2 days as a start until I send you the next link, and I'll check in and see how you're going. So next week we are up to our last video, and I'll send that through in 48 hours. We're going to be looking at what to do if you're worried that you might not be getting the right nutrition balance. Until then, if you are after any more information, you can visit livingwithasleep.com. There's lots of advice on there, and until then, I guess, happy eating. Cheers, guys.